Hey guys, how are you all? Hope so you all are doing well. Okay, so let's start the story without any further conversation. I just this upload the story in parts. From now I will not. Okay, so hmm, Yoongi is in Yoongi is in his room. He do dinner? No, he don't. Jimin said she don't serve him the dinner. The thing is him. They do the dinner together now. They don't even do the dinner together. Yoongi sit on the couch and the day Jimin come in this house, Yoongi stop. He is non-stoply and close his eyes. He about to take up when someone take from him. He open his eyes and see Jimin stand in front of him. He looked at Jimin and stand up. Jimin didn't say anything and placed the dinner on the table. Yoongi, Jimin, Jimin, I know you don't get from 2 years. I'm not with you. That's why he said. Then Yoongi see him and the alarm ring. Yoongi open his eyes and he sit on the bed. Yoongi, oh, again a dream. He go downstairs and see Jimin is as usual arranging the breakfast. He go and sit silently. Jimin mom, dad is coming back Korea. He said as Jimin parents live in London. Yoongi stop and look at him. Jimin, they said they stay here and they will be here in night. They don't know about the. He stopped for a second, for a moment, and then speak Jimin hour. I need to in your Yoongi hour. Jimin look at him. Jimin hope so you don't tell them anything, Yoongi. I will make sure everything goes well. He said and Jimin didn't said anything and he served him the breakfast and go from the Yoongi sign to see it's night time. Mrs. Park and Mr. Park come. Mrs. Park, my mochi, how are you? Jimin, I am fine. And you, mom? He smiled lightly. Mr. Park smiled. They meet with each other. Mr. Park, where is Yoongi, son? Jimin, Yoongi come just in some times, dad. Mr. Park, he is really a hard-working person. Jimin nodded with a small smile and then he see Yoongi come, who respectfully greet his parents and sit. Jimin offer him water. Yoongi is walking in the room when Jimin enter in the room. Jimin see the room. He feel like he is here. After why he is keeping himself from Yoongi just because he is if they again what he do as he know just from Yoongi and himself is Jimin is thinking all this when Yoongi speak. Yoongi, you sleep on the bed, I will sleep on the couch, he said and about to take pillow from bed. Jimin, we are not that much of each other, he said, and Yoongi stopped. Yoongi, it's not like that, Jimin. I just think maybe you will not be with me, he said softly, and Jimin seeing him. He don't know what he want. He want Yoongi stay here or he want he go from here. From him. His mind is saying something else and is totally confused. What he did. Jimin eyes turned. Yoongi bent down in front of him. Yoongi, don't, Jimin. I do. As you said, everything happens with your wish. It's okay, he said. Then Jimin hurriedly wiped his but is not ready to stop. Maybe they today want to fall from his eyes. They are to stay there. Yoongi, he called him softly and Jimin sighed as now he stand up and about to go. Yoongi hold his hand. Jimin singing. Yoongi, the one won't make you, he said, and him Jimin is he He know he in his he him. Jimin didn't said anything and he lay on his side. Yoongi see him. He sit on the on the couch and the room lights is. Jimin is he whole and Yoongi is so he start to be the perfect as a man he have, but he also just for Jimin only. He know how much he know how much time he take, how much he feels. Why Jimin is not saying all this? Jimin is saying he had and Jungi is not with him. It's Jungi. So what Jungi also he want to tell. Acha Jimin coming. Jimin come in the kitchen. He see Jungi is making breakfast and Mrs. Park is talking with him. He is smiling with her. Jimin see him after a long time. He see Yoongi smile like this. Maybe he smiles so much. Mrs. Park, oh Jimin, you come. She mentioned and Yoongi see Jimin. Yoongi, good morning. He greets him softly and Jimin nodded. Jimin, you are here, mom. Mrs. Park, helping Yoongi in making breakfast. Jimin, I do you. Do you go, mom? Mrs. Park, alright, son. She smiled and go. Jimin see Yoongi and Yoongi start to do his work. Jimin collect the plates he place on the shelf and then I see his hand is a little bit. Jimin, where is your mind, Yoongi? Yoongi on you. He sat down. Jimin looked at him. He leave his hand. Jimin, you, how can you yourself like this, Yoongi? Jimin, for I already my Yoongi. That's the point, Jimin. He is not only. He said, Dan, Mr. and Mrs. Park come to here. There, Jimin. He's only you have to understand this, and I'm just because of yourself, just because of your best friend. He and Mrs. Park shocked Jimin because of her and your pa. If you don't, this never happens. Yoongi, you believe her? Jimin, yes, I do. You are the of my. He said Dan. Said Dan. Yoongi is totally Yoongi. Okay, listen me. He call him. He call him softly. Jimin, I don't listen. You my. I don't stay here. He said and start. Yoongi also Mr. and Mrs. Park see all this. They are shocked. Jimin is and Yoongi see him. Yoongi, what you want now? Jimin, from you. He said and Yoongi, Mrs. Park, Jimin, you know what you are asking for. Yoongi san, Yoongi san, you go in your room. I talk with him. Yoongi, wait, auntie, you really want this? Jimin, yes, I want this. He said and looked into his eyes. Yoongi, go from there, and Jimin is. He sit on the and Mrs. Park, you know what you ask from him, Jimin? What's the matter? She said, and Jimin stand up. He is dead and start. Mr. Park and Mrs. Park stay silent for some time. And Mrs. Park is for Yoongi. Time skip. It's afternoon. Jimin is in his room. He so he said so many things to Yoongi and he is if Yoongi really give him what he do. Mrs. Park, Jimin, we need to talk. He said that Jimin is Mrs. Park after you start to Yoongi. She said and Jimin nodded. Mrs. Park, why? Jimin, Mama, I am if we again And if I again become, I don't have to my Mrs. Park. Listen me, Jimin. What happened is past is not yours or nor Yoongi. You have to understand this. Yoongi is also the Jimin I know, mom. I know I am him, but what I do? I can't smile on whenever we are okay, whenever we are with each other that much. Mrs. Park, this is you are giving him, asking him for, you think you can without him, Jimin, I will, mom, Mrs. Min. Then don't him like this, Jimin, him, me or not, Mrs. Park. He do, Jiminy, ask for you, him a lot. Don't do this again, please. And about your, give one more. You have to do this. Don't be your is with you, and moreover, the who's ready to over you. Understand? She said, and Jimmy nodded. Mrs. Park, 2 years is enough. Me and huh, your dad is going in our apartment. Hope so you don't the things. Jimin, okay, Mrs. Park, promise now you don't. Jimin come in. Jimin come in the room. He stopped on his way when he see Yoongi. The whole room and he sit on the edge of the bed in a, you can said he a lot or maybe now also. It's almost night. He don't eat anything also. Jimin make dinner for him and come in the room. He plays on the table and sit beside him. He don't know from where he start, what he do as Yoongi continuously staying the floor. Jimin hands his uh, Jimin Yoongi, I call the, he sent the, no, I said whatever I want. But you are not. You know how to handle the situation. Yoongi, I am to be perfect. Tell me, is this tell me in this all time once you try to understand me, no, right? But still I like and you think we know you here because of my, I would to now as like this I do the my own, he said. And Jimin sign as no. Jimin, you said Jimmy, right? You don't. That big, right? Give me time. Me time to with you, please. I know I give you so much. He didn't sit and sit on the couch. Yoongi in mind, you know well how to make me. How can I tell you I am not at you? Then how can I you? But you need to realize, my Jimin, I am for doing this, but I have to. Jimin, please, Yoongi, listen me, please, he said, and Yoongi didn't give him any answer. Jimin, please, Yoongi, do the dinner and sleep. Jimin sighed as no. Jimin, no, I don't do dinner without you. Yoongi, I am full by the breakfast, he said, and Jimin looking down with a pouch. He is looking so cute. Yoongi want his cheeks, but you don't, Jimin. But you have to do the dinner of him, Yoongi. Him, Yoongi lay on the bed and the lights. Jimin make a pout. He go on the Yoongi sleep in your room. But Jimin and Yoongi smile. The lights is so Jimin don't know. Don't even 5 minutes pass and Jimin sleep. Yoongi and Yoongi, you don't know how much I am feeling happy again you in my Jimin just sometimes he said and his forehead and he himself also sleep. Next day Yoongi opened his eyes and see the time. It's 12 a.m. and he looked at Jimin who is also sleeping. Yoongi smiled. Yoongi see the it seems like it's peacefully after a long time. Well, it's true. Long time. He mumbled and go for fresh up. Jimin opened his eyes slowly and see he sit on the bed and see the time. It's 1 p.m. His eyes widen. He sleep that much. He hurriedly fresh up and then go downstairs as Jimin come in. Jimin come in the kitchen. He see Yoongi is making lunch while their breakfast and talking on the phone. Yoongi, okay, send the papers I signed. Jimin in mind, eye your hands. He think and make a pouch. He see him. He is so serious. He go and Yoongi see him, but don't said anything. Jimin on and Yoongi. He look at Jimin who is on it softly and then Jimin Yoongi send the papers. He said and Jimin again on the Yoongi cut the call. Yoongi, what you are doing? Jimin looked at him and then he on his cheeks. Yoongi looked at Jimin. I the papers don't even think you get you are with me. He said Yoongi him on the side and start to make the lunch. Jimin make a pouch again and Jimin sorry please he said cutely Yoongi call. He signed and returned. Jimin looked at him with his big blue eyes. Jimin make a Jimin make a pout to see him. He don't do the breakfast and sit in the living room, thinking he really the thing so much. What he do? Now he is so confused. Yoongi come in the living room. He see Jimin. A smile crept on his face. Yoongi is so about me. Just some more days are is coming. I give you surprise and we talk. We solve the every problem. He think and Jimin looked at him and stand up and went toward him. Jimin Yoongi, listen, he said and Yoongi sit on the couch. Jimin sit beside him. Jimin, I know Yoongi, I the think so much, but the real reason is I am Yoongi. I know we both again. Myself, I don't keep my from you and you are so far from this and if I become we are again he said and his voice Jimin I know I am to think about this but I am Yoongi what I do he said and Jimin eyes turn more Jimin please look at me talk with me. I know you understand me. I know you are to being perfect. Don't be at me if you want me also. I don't said anything but talk with me, please. Your silence is, he said, and heart. He want to him right now, Yoongi. Go. You think I don't? You, Jimin. It's not like that, Yoongi. I trust you. I know. If I said you don't mean you don't do, but what about me when I myself cannot? You stop me, huh? He said, and Jungi sign as no Jungi Jimin. I have to go. He said and stand up. Jimin, listen me, please. Jungi, come home. It's night time. When he see no one is in the living room, he run upstairs and see Jimin is sleeping in the room on the couch. Yoongi take his steps toward him and see the on his cheeks. He bent down in front of him and sit. Yoongi smiled to see him. Yoongi, my is at me. I know what I am doing is not and I don't give you much, but the surprise is also important, right? It's the turning point of our. He is talking softly when Jimin opened his eyes slowly and he looked at Yoongi. Jimin Yoon. Yoongi stop and see him. Jimin sit on the couch and Yoongi, Jimin you are. His half closed. His half closed eyes. He is sleepy. Yoongi, sleep, Jimin, he said, and Jimin him and his own Yoongi and see Jimin fell in sleep. He smiled to see him and Yoongi smiling to see him and just as he's the morning is again same outside is the light rain and Jimin opened his eyes once again he see himself. He sit on the bed and sign to see the of course. Yoongi go office. Jimin sign and see there. Jimin again. And then I tell you with whom you he said and hmm light नहीं आनी light smile. Jimin I take my and at the end you as now you know well enough. Only you do the his thing and freshen. Yoongi is Yoongi is in his office. He come home and now working in his home office. He don't see Jimin as he come. Jimin is working in the kitchen and then he fresh up and then direct come in his office. Okay, Yoongi come in. Yoongi come in the kitchen and see Jimin is still making the dinner. Yoongi feel like he get anew. He don't know why. He become so in Jimin. He went toward him and stand behind him. Jimin is busy in his work. Jimin turn and he see Yoongi. Jimin you he complete यार इतने वॉइस ओवर नहीं होना complete his sentence हाँ उसको खुदा खौफ करो तौबा and इतना वॉइस ओवर नहीं आना अजीब अरे जाना ही मारने क्यों पढ़ने लगे बेचारी ने कुछ हो जाता चलो निकलो मेरा वॉइस ओवर नहीं होना इतनी हाँ so I don't do voice over Jimin when Yoongi see him Yoongi I am not I understand you also Jimin you too okay so ignore my mom please she's here to again annoying me annoying all right and some minutes was our left and here Jimin I am Yoongi I am with you Jimin don't skip me I will not I know you were so he said and Jimin him and start Yoongi now no more he said and Jimin looked at him Yoongi wiped his and Jimin gave him a small smile Yoongi let's go somewhere Jimin where Yoongi where you want to go Jimin this much early I don't think Yoongi leave this on me Jimin but dinner Yoongi wait he off the and hold his hand Yoongi let's go now Jimin chuckled to see him Jimin what you are doing Yoongi but Yoongi don't listen him and he take him out okay they are going out Yoongi take Jimin Yoongi take Jimin on the seaside and Jimin see the view. He is so happy. Jimin, what's in your mind, Yoongi? Yoongi, well, there is so many things, but I can't hear as in spot, right? Jimin chuckle and him, Yoongi, what you said by yourself? You don't know about my, but you can't yourself. Jimin, yeah, it's true, and I don't have, and I have right, Yoongi, yeah, yeah. You have right, Yoongi, we both are. Jimin, what happened? Somewhere I don't understand you, and somewhere you don't understand me. And now I will make sure to take care of you. Jimin, yeah, Yoongi, I our 2 years, Yoongi, and I make our lives so beautiful. Hmm, you will forget the 2 years. Jimin smile and Jimin, you know, Yoongi, you are the bestest. If someone else is in your place, they don't be Yoongi. And why anyone else will be with you, huh? We for each other. He said, and Jimin looked at him. He giggled. Jimin, yes, you are. I don't you with anyone. He said, and Yoongi chuckled to see him. Both are looking so beautiful. The people around them is watching them with so much in their eyes. They stayed together. Okay, so they're so cute. We all know. Huh, all right. Only 6 minutes voiceover left. So this is the third last scene. Third last scene. Yoongi and Jimin do the dinner and come home. Jimin, I still so surprised by the dinner and outing all of a sudden. Yoongi, you know it's best. Jimin giggled and he nodded. Jimin, yes, but don't listen me also. If let me, then I won't fail. Yoongi, you were looking so beautiful. You no need to. Jimin, you think this. Yoongi, so what? You get ready for and are you in every way? So why you feel? Jimin, okay, okay, I don't win from you. Yoongi, you know well you can't, he said, and Jimin see him and the sign, Jimin, I am going upstairs. Yoongi, let's go, he said, and they go. And here is the second last scene. Jimin is talking with Yoongi. Yoongi opened the door and Jimin see him. He freeze on his he freeze on his place. His eyes widen to see him, and then he see the room. The whole room is filled with the flowers, and also the is decorated beautifully. Even their first is not like this. Yoongi chuckled to see him. Jimin, Yoongi, this Yoongi happy, he whispered, and Jimin looked at him. He see the time and shocked. It's well, Jimin, today is our. He asked, and Yoongi nodded. Jimin see the room. He see everything in detail, and he becomes so happy. Jimin, thank you so much. This is so beautiful. I'm so happy. He said, and Yoongi chuckled. Jimin is jumping in happiness to see all this. Yoongi asked to see him like this. Yoongi, wish me also. It's my also, he said, and Jimin see him. I'm okay. Yoongi, are really the way you wish me. Can you do that again? He said, and Jimin giggled. Yoongi on his forehead. Yoongi, I want to spend my whole life with you and want to see so many like this with you. Okay, so finally they are together. Hmm. As sometimes I feel like I was nothing. I want unlike before. If you said it's day, I said day. If you said night, I said night. I want again the trust, Jimin. Everything is same. Nothing changed. You are same for me and only. He said and make a pout and Jungi chuckled to see him. And okay, so ha ha ha. And here is 3 minutes voiceover left. I see the time and it's 2:05, bro. I will free before 2:10. Hmm. And then I get ready a little bit as I have to go on a small meetup. And the only 10 seconds voiceover are left, and then the third last text starts. Okay, second last scene and the third last text, and the whole again they start the new journey and the off there. Okay, so the last scene and the second last text. Time is passing, life take a good turn. Everything is goes well. When Jimin come in a yoongi office and see him doing work, he silently go and sit on the yoongi. See him. He close the laptop and look at Jimin. Yoongi, you are here? Jimin nodded. Yoongi, what want to say something? Jimin nodded and Yoongi asked. Jimin stayed silent for some moments and then he showed him the Yoongi see and he looked at Jimin with his widened eyes. Yoongi, is it true? Jimin nodded and Jim. Yoongi, I am so. Jimin, me too, Yoongi. Yoongi, Jiminy. Jimin looked at him. Jimin, are you? Jimin san as no. Jimin, I am in chat but now not as I know you. Okay, so last scene and the last text. I know you handle everything. He said then. Jimin smiled. Yoongi feel like him. Yoongi, thank you so much for me. He said then Jimin giggle again. They see the happiness they are for, but the time is like Yoongi. Uh, he's 3 to 4 deals, but he don't go anywhere. He take care of Jimin. He hired maids and many more, and then with them, both are so happy. And he is, of course, Chungi and Jimin feeling from her, but he managed to. They are so happy. Finally, a happy family, like we all want. Finally, the voiceover is finished. Now you need go fresh up, then do the breakfast, and then go for a small meetup. I have so much work to do today. Okay, see you soon, guys. Hope so you all like. If you like, then subscribe and tell me in comments. Bye bye. Take care of yourself, Saranghaeeee. See you in the next video and soon. Bye.